Hey guys, this is Mitran and I'm telling the famous 5 stories. I'm the first book called Fire on Treasure Island and I'm in the 4th chapter. In the previous chapter, Annie, Dick and Julian became friends with George and Timmy. Timmy is a dog and they planned to go to Kirin Island that afternoon. Now let's see what is going to happen in the 4th chapter called An Exciting Afternoon. The children took bait and the boys noticed that George was a good swimmer. She could swim faster and she could go underwater. She can hold her breath for a longer time and she's even strong. And Julian said to George that, "You're a good swimmer, George." And he said to Annie that you also need to learn hard strokes. And they all were hungry, so they went home. And they had plum pie, bread, and cheese. And the children was relieved that they didn't have Uncle Quentin in the table because he was having his meal in his room. So the children had a sigh. Then they started to eat. Then Aunt Fanny asked, "What's your plan in the afternoon?" Then Annie said, "We are going to go to the other side of the island to visit the wreck." And Aunt Fanny was surprised and saw George. "You've never taken visitors to your island." Aunt Fanny also said that, "I've told you a dozen times to take your friends over there, but you haven't. I'm glad that you like your cousins, and I hope you guys also like George." Then Annie said, "Yes, we like George and T." She was about to say Timmy, but she said like Tim. Then George gave her a kick. Then when Aunt Fanny noticed that, she became angry and said that she's telling something good about you, but you kick her. Get out of the table. So George took a bread and cheese and went out. And Annie said, "No, it was an accident. Please call George back." But Aunt Fanny said, "Eat your meal." So they had a silent meal and Annie took a bread and cheese to George, who was lying on the garden. When Annie asked sorry, George said, "I'm not going to take you to wreck, you stupid girl." Then Annie said, I don't want the boys to be punished, so you take the boys." George said, "Won't you feel miserable?" Annie said, Of course I will, but I don't want the boys to miss the treat." Then George said, and Annie also said that, "You see how the awful kick you made us," and she showed the bruise. When George noticed that, she said, "You made a mistake. I did the kick, so it's all square. Now you're also coming." And he went to the boys and said, "We are going." After 15 minutes, everyone and a 15-year-old fisher boy and Timmy were on the boat. It was a wonderful afternoon and the children were happy and excited. They also loved the movement of the boat over the water. Timmy was also happy, wagging his tail, jumping up and down in the boat and licking everyone. And when Annie said, "Isn't it lovely to have a dog?" and came Timmy licking her ear, Annie said, "Wow, he can understand everything we say." And George replied, "Yes, he can. He can understand every single word we talk." Then when they came near to the island, it was surrounded by sharp rocks, and the middle of the island was a ruined castle built with white stones. And Julian said, "Wow, it's awfully mysterious." And he said, "Can we go on land there?" For that, George replied, "No, we can't. If we go and see the wreck, it will take a long time to reach back home." And Mom said that we should reach Jad by tea time. So we can if you're seeing the wreck. The water is clear and smooth, and George also knows where to stop to see the wreck. And when they arrived the spot, John said, "It's the wreck, it's the wreck." Then everyone, including Timmy, gazed down to watch the wreck. After seeing the wreck, Julian said, "Oh, poor old ship. It must hate lying down there. I wish I could go inside." He said to George, and George said, "Why don't you? You have your swimming trunks on, and if you want, I can join too, and Dick can keep the boat round the spot while we go in." George went in first. Everyone saw how George went strong underneath. And after some time, George came out and said, "I went near the wreck, but it's as usual, as filled with seaweed and limpets, etc. But I want to go more inside the ship, but I can't hold my breath." Then went Julian. Julian was not a good swimmer, but he knows how to open his eyes underwater. Julian took a clear view of the deck of the wreck, but he didn't like it. It gave him a sad feeling. So he went up, climbed in the boat, and said, "Wow, it's so exciting. I wish I could go to the cabins and look for the boxes of gold." But George replied, "No, you can't. We send proper divers in, but they have no idea where the gold is." And when she looked at the watch, "Oh no, it's time for tea time. It's tea time." So they all managed to go home by tea time. But they were 5 minutes late. After tea time, they had a walk on the moors with Timmy. And when bedtime came, everyone was tired and sleepy. Annie said to George, "Good night, George. We had a lovely day." And George replied, "Yeah, you and I had a lovely day. I'm so glad that you guys are here, and we're going to have so much fun." And she also added that, didn't you like my island and the wreck?" And George and Annie said, "Yes," and slept, dreaming about when will George take to her island. And this is the end of this chapter, guys. And wait till the next chapter comes, called A Visit to the Island. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to get more videos on me telling you famous 5 stories. Bye-bye.